Obviously today, big game, the Zay Jones revenge game, Bills against Raiders. And as always, it is brought to you by Picasso's Pizza. Make them a part of your game day traditions now and for years to come. They've been serving up delicious pizza for 4 generations in Buffalo. So give back to them the way they've been giving back to our community by giving us pizza with just the little burnt on the pepperoni and the Parmesan cheese sprinkled. That gets a little char on it over the top.
That char and cup, baby. That char and cup.
Char and cup, baby. And that's going to be hashtag char and cup, baby. Get it trending and get Picasso's Pizza into your living rooms, into your dining rooms around 4:25 today for Bills Raiders. Nationally televised now because, in case you guys haven't heard, the COVID is doing everything we thought it would do to the NFL after we saw how it went with baseball for a little bit. I don't have to go into too much with that, but it could affect the Bills next week against the Titans. The soonest the Titans could get into their facilities is Wednesday. Kevin, I know you have your thoughts on that. How are you? What are your thoughts on how the NFL is handling everything right now?
I'll start at the top, I guess, with the COVID situation. It's not good. I mean, you basically had an organization we'll find out more about probably in the coming days. They've had on-site officials, the NFLPA, NFL's there. It doesn't look like they followed protocol. Like I've, kind of in my days back a couple of months, well, call it March, I actually sat through a Johns Hopkins University class in contact tracing and infectious disease. I just found it really interesting. Thought I would broaden my horizons and found out a lot of details about infection period, about incubation period, about a lot of the topics. And so I'm kind of passionate about it. And I don't really believe the Titans followed any protocol. If you look around the league and you look at AJ Terrell from the Falcons, it was a game Saturday, similar to a Cam Newton situation, and they were able to contain it. You're seeing the Cam Newton situation being contained fairly well. I'm going to say that there's a lot of good protocols that New England's following there, and as well as Kansas City with their practice squad player, and the game's going to go on Monday like it should. I was in the belief that the protocols were followed, and that you probably shouldn't have postponed the game, but because of Tennessee, you did. I think the situation, you can follow your data and trust your data, but the NFL questioned itself, and they said, you know what they said? I don't know. We can't trust these teams are following. We look at what happened in Tennessee. We need to scale back, even though they were probably pretty confident that it was contained based on data of GPS watches, contact tracing data. They probably felt pretty confident in New England's situation. However, with the optics of Tennessee and 18 now players and coaches, 9-9 across the board, you just can't trust it, and you had to postpone, even though they're probably pretty confident in getting that game Sunday. Although they're going to relish in the fact that they're going to get a good prime double Monday night game now potentially. They're going to be missing Cam Newton, but he tested positive. There's nothing you can do about him playing in this game anyways, so you're already going to lose him. It is what it is, guys, but I don't think Tennessee followed protocol. I think it's, look at it from a Bills perspective. I think it's going to put them in a big bind. They're going to have to play a Week 18 game, which I heavily wanted to avoid because it's a playoff implications. Yep. Tennessee Buffalo is probably going to have playoff implications, and now you're going to have to play it. You're going to have other playoff teams on bye. Just completely not fair. It wasn't even fair that the Steelers had to rearrange their schedules and their byes for this.
Yeah, you saw
it's actually a topic of mine, and it's troublesome. I mean, it's troublesome that you're going to now have to do Week 18 because they didn't follow protocol.
You saw Eric Ebron tweet, now I'm going to miss my son's birthday party because that was going to be in our bye week. Why did we have to, be punished almost for what the Titans did? And, shout out Jordan Ta'amu, the practice squad quarterback for the Chiefs. He was playing Cam Newton in their simulations this week, so him getting COVID really embracing the role there. But we got, we do have a great matchup here for the Bills. A lot of injuries on both sides, but the Bills are finally becoming healthy, which is, a good thing. But on the Raiders side of the ball, they're down. Henry Ruggs is doubtful. He might be playing. That's going to be a game-time decision. Kevin, what else are we seeing on the injury front?
Yeah, they're pretty banged up. They have offensive line injuries. They're missing Richie Incognito on the IR. They're missing a guy, Trent Brown, a guy they brought over from New England, who's played a couple of snaps week 1. He's out. Their offensive line's in deep problems. Their receiving course, they're missing, and then they're missing their 6th receiver as well in this game. I don't think you see Henry Ruggs. There's no way. He didn't practice all week. If he had practiced, I would say, all right, that doubtful, but then you're going to have questions about the injury report. The Bills won't be happy that he didn't practice all week. You label him as doubtful and not out and then play him. Yeah. That's some tomfoolery right there. So I wouldn't expect to do not fire up Henry Ruggs. I wouldn't expect to see him in this game at all. how he's not out is bizarre, especially looking at his practice reps that I'm seeing that he didn't take a single one. There's just absolutely no way that he should have been listed at the doubtful report. But they're in trouble. I mean, it's a Zay Jones revenge game. They're running in with limited weapons. I mean, really, they need to get Jacobs going in this game and Darren Waller, obviously. But the Bills played Higbee really well last week. I mean, that's something where they increased their presence on adding in Matt Milano. So I don't think that there's too much there to be worried about. I think that they've overachieved to this point. So anything could happen. You're traveling from east to west. They do have enough talent. Derek Carr can win football games on his own. But unless you're seeing one of those games, I think it's going to be a difficult position to be in without your two rookie receivers. You're going to be rolling with, a bunch of Hunter Renfrow, Nelson Aguilar. We know the allure around Nelson Aguilar, and Zay Jones. I mean, that's it. I mean, that's the three receivers that team has. So if you're a fan of that, okay. Don't think any of the three make the Bills roster. I think Hunter Renfrow had a shot. I mean, I think he does. But other than that, it's a questionable room. Josh Jacobs is a great running back, and the Bills are struggling to run. It's straight up what it is. So if they get that going, and they control the clock, that's the only way initially, if you're looking at this injury report, for them to get it done. But I mean, they're running out of Denzel Good, Colton Miller tackle combination. I'm not too worried about that. They're struggling with John Simpson at left guard. He's been bad. So other than Rodney Hudson, they're pretty decent center. They're not great on the offensive line, missing Richie Incognito.
No, that's where I think the Bills are going to have a great opportunity with that defensive line to get after them early. Like you said, I think the recipe for success here for the Raiders would have to be to have a game out of Derek Carr where he is a world beater, and you have to get Josh Jacobs going at the same time. You need both of them going at full steam, and that hasn't really happened at all this season. Jacobs is struggling to get his feet under him right now, not really having any standout performances. And you look at Derek Carr, he had that MVP almost type season a few years back before the injury. But since then, he's been such an average guy. He's not doing anything that's going to kill you. And without all those weapons around him, without a healthy Henry Ruggs, I don't think you're going to get him at all. But without him out there, that is a huge step down in what he has out there at the receiver position. And without that, I think that bodes very well for that Bills defense today, Mark. I don't know what you think about that. You're getting Josh Norman back as well. I think that could be a good, huge recipe for a big game from that defense that's been sort of struggling this season.
I think our defense, if we could tighten up the defensive line, really attack their offensive line, limit Josh Jacobs. I mean, he's fifth in the league right now in rushing. If you could shut that down, beautiful, right?
It's more of he's getting the touches as opposed to most of the guys. His efficiency isn't as great as those other guys up there at the top.
Right. As well with our defense, last week we had a bunch of missed tackles. If we could just tighten up the defense, right? They don't have any of those receivers. Hunter Renfrow, sweet. Darren Waller, if we could do a good job, bring up to his point about Higbee last week. We did a pretty good job. Waller, I think, is a different animal. He's a lot more athletic compared to Higbee. If we could shut him down as well, I'm telling you right now, Derek Carr is not going to have a good day. Though he had good numbers last week, if you watch some of his highlights, he made a bunch of what are you doing plays. You know what I mean? I'm not too worried about Derek Carr and the fact that he's missing all those weapons. It's looking good for the Bills.
Yeah, it's definitely looking really good for the Bills. And, for me, what I'm worried, and we can kind of transition this into the keys of the game since we kind of already started talking about that. For me, I'm looking for, we talk about Hunter Renfrow. We can joke that, he might make the Bills team, but he is probably their number one option in the passing game for this game. Mm-hmm. And he does do a lot of his work out of the slot. And the Bills, I found out actually, they've allowed the most wide receiver production in the NFL from the slot this year. And it's not that Taron Johnson's a bad slot corner. It's just that, that's where Mike Gesicki was going off, and it's hard for a slot corner, especially to cover a tight end like that.
And also teams have generally been playing from behind, so exactly. A lot more passes than runs.
Exactly. And when you're not throwing, wherever Trey White is, you're throwing away from there. So when you take away a third of the field for an entire game, that's why Levi Wallace and Taron Johnson, their PFF numbers, their stats overall aren't going to be the best in terms of, stopping the pass. But if we can shut down Hunter Renfrow, I have him in some fan duels. I'd be happy to have him be the guy that kills me because Taron Johnson shuts him down. So if we can lock that up, that we would almost effectively take away their passing game, considering Trey White's probably going to be on Darren Waller, like how the Pats put Gilmore on him. So for me, it's controlling the middle of the field for their wide receivers. Kevin, over to you. What's one of your big keys for the game for a Bills win here?
Yeah, I think it's stopping Jacobs. I mean, 3.7 yards per carry, I think Ty alluded to. It's not great. I'll sign that off right now. If I could sign that up for 3.7, I don't care how many carries he gets. It's not going to win you football games.
Nope. Yeah.
There's a formula for it. I mean, if you're going to rush 3.7 to 4 yards per carry, hold the ball, get some turnovers, okay, you have a shot there. But if you're going to tell me that, I don't care how many yards he gets total, neither do the Bills. The advanced statistics would say 3.7 yards per carry will win you games. So they're going to sign off on his average play right now. So I think it's stopping Jacobs, making sure it doesn't get higher than that, because he can be. I mean, you've seen him play really good football. So it's stopping Jacobs right now. Call it what it is. And you touch on the other topic. It's the middle of the field. PFF grades aside, Taron Johnson struggled. He hasn't been very good. I haven't liked his play at all. He sticks his nose in and run. You see flashy plays here that kind of like, all right, yeah, that's what we're looking for out of Taron. But in his 1/11th of the game, of the field, throughout the majority of the game, he struggles. You will see those flash plays. I need to see more from Taron Johnson, and the linebacking core wasn't right in the last couple. Milano looked good. Tremaine Edwards hasn't been right. I mean, he's been missing tackles. He's been over pursuing. He's been not hitting run gaps. He's been leaving that middle of the field all over. Yeah.
I think that's 100% because of his shoulder. You see he doesn't want to lead in with that shoulder. He's trying to make tackles where you normally want to get your head in front on any tackle you're making, right, so that it's harder for someone to get through you. He's not doing that. He's leading with his opposite shoulder. Guys are bouncing right off of him. So obviously that's impacting him. We want to see him healthy, but right now his health is being detrimental to the defense as a whole, and you don't want that to happen. You might be better off, using him in a more limited role. You know what I mean? You take him off the field a little bit, bring him in crucial situations where you can count on him, but not necessarily overusing him. He doesn't need to take every single snap on defense.
Yeah, that's true. And I think the keys to the game is starting Darren Waller. So it plays into the role. I thought Higbee would have a bigger factor in the game last week, and it was more Cooper Kupp. So you're going to, they've also played some really good players that can play the middle of the field, and not the best boundary. Like the Jets didn't have boundary receivers. I heard Devontae Parker didn't really cause any issues. So they haven't played the best receivers in the league. So you're going to have some of those gaps in the middle of the field. So that's where teams are attacking it right now. And Ty's right. They're playing from behind. The Dolphins got all their yards late in the game. The Rams obviously made that really big push, with some lucky turnovers and some other things that had happened in that game to pad those stats. But they were playing really well through 2.5 quarters. So it's a get-right game for the defense. If the Raiders are able to take theirs with Hunter Renfrow and Darren Waller, that doesn't bode well on the defensive side going forward. They need to step in. They need to play good defense. Today's the day to do it because you're getting Josh Norman back, and you're going to be able to DB match up a little bit better with their only 3 receivers, and then as well as Darren Waller. So you're going to be able to probably put a cornerback on Darren Waller if you want. You're going to be able to bring in Norman and maybe even have Taron Johnson in the game. So you're going to be able to do different things that might limit Tremaine Edmonds in pass coverage and might limit his ability to play with his instincts, because sometimes his instincts take over instead of his raw football ability. So it's tough right now to say, but he practiced a lot better. I think the Bills got out there last week knowing that Edmonds is going to have some rough patches, but getting him out there and playing is important. So they need to clean up that middle of the field. That's absolutely a key to this game. Offensively, I don't have any issues. Their defense isn't great. You're already playing with them without their first-round draft choice as well. So they're missing a lot of pieces. Their DBs are already not good. You're going to have a Nevin Lawson matchup against somebody, depending on if they play sides of the field or not. So I'm in good shape there. You're going to have a Beasley and LaMarcus Joyner matchup I like. You're going to have matchups all over the field on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know who's gonna man up Stephon Diggs. It's going to be Trevon Mullen right now. I'm not too worried about that matchup. There's matchups all over the field right now. Mullen's a guy I have in a deep sim league that I play 53-man rosters in, and I've been waiting for him to develop, and he isn't there yet. He's played well, so missing Arnett's a big deal, and they're going to have to roll with the journeyman and Nevin Lawson to cover John Brown, even if he's not full strength, which he had a full practice on Friday, guys. There's a lot of good matchups to like on the offensive side now.
Ty,
Oh,
over to you. Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm right there with Kevin. You look at that Vegas defense; they've given up an average of 30 points per game thus far, over 24 in each of those contests. And I think if you're that Bills offense, you want to get out to a nice early lead so you can lean on that running game. You want to get that running game right. You're going to get Zach Moss hopefully a little bit healthier this week. Obviously, didn't play at all last week, but if you're able to get that two-headed monster going a little bit here, Singletary had a great performance last week. Not necessarily great the entire game, but did a lot of good things for that Bills offense. And then you look at all the injuries this Raiders team has. It just means you should be able to take advantage of a lot of these matchups. You talk about what's happening at the receiver core. No Tyrell Williams, no Henry Ruggs. We have good cornerbacks to begin with, so you should be able to shut down that passing game. That should allow you to focus in a little bit more on Josh Jacobs. Don't let him get going. If he's able to, only run for 3 yards, 3.5 yards per carry, you should be okay if you're able to stop the pass, which it looks like you have a recipe for that at least. I still sort of like this game to go over, though, because I like what the Bills' offense should be able to do against this defense. I think you should be able to put up at least 30 points, and I could see Vegas getting to maybe 17. So when you look at it, you put up 3-4 touchdowns at least here. You get this receiving core going. You saw Gabe Davis really step up last week when John Brown wasn't out there on the field very much. So I'm not, too worried about John Brown being banged up. Like you said, he was getting out there on Friday, full participant. So you like that, that progression forward going into the game on Sunday. Now, will that all, translate to Bills' success? I think it should. But you're in Vegas. You're going to put your money on the Bills? I wish we were all in Vegas to do it because we'd be counting the free money at the end. We'd all be coming back and getting paid for that Vegas trip.
We really would.
Singletary, man. I mean, the Patriots gashed this defense for 250 yards. They were averaging, I think, 6.6 yards per carry, and that was Sony Michel and Rex Burkhead.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot of Cam Newton, right?
No. And Singletary, I think he's better than those guys. And the past 2 games, he's been averaging around, I think, 5.5 yards per carry. I mean, is this the game where we see the rushing game do just as well as the passing game? Because that'd be phenomenal. If that's the case today, I'm telling you, 40 points. I think it could be a real thing. And bringing it back to the defense, we need to tighten up on defense and finish the games in the second half. Okay. In the first half, out of the 3 games, our defense has only given up 16 points, right? In the second half, out of these 3 games, our defense has given up a total of 61 points in the third and fourth quarter. You got to tighten up those games towards the end, finish strong. You can't get laid back after halftime. It's a brand new game when you come out, and you have to come out swinging. You cannot get comfortable, and that's what almost seems like it's killing us these past couple games because we're letting teams get back in it when we shouldn't. And it's
speaking on that, I want to hear Kev's response a little bit. Is it the defensive coaching? Is it more of the other teams making great adjustments and us making none, sort of, going out there trying to do the same thing that was working in the first half?
I think you have a mixture of a couple of factors there. So in the first week, you had just to prevent defense against the Jets. You're like, they're not talented. We're just going to take this thing into the future. We're just take this W. Like they kind of relaxed a little bit. Got some meaningless stats hung up on them in that game. You go to the Dolphins game. I thought Fitzpatrick played a really good game plan. Limited linebacking core there. They're just not going to tick without Milano and Edmonds. It's just not going to happen. It just wasn't a great defensive performance. Fitzpatrick took care of Levi Wallace as he does. It seems to be what Fitzpatrick likes to do is just I have a specific game plan that can target Levi Wallace and my strengths and my team strengths. And the Bills really didn't have an answer. I mean, they're just Saran Neal, and it ended up working a little bit. And then, there's a little bit of struggles defensively at halftime, and then you play McVay, probably the best offensive coach in the league, or one of them.
Yeah.
That team gets paid a lot of money to pay offense. Just paid Robert Woods a ton of money. Just paid Cooper Kupp a ton of money. That team gets paid. Jared Goff's obviously on a huge contract. That team gets paid a lot of money to play offense, and they were awful at it. You got to say that they were awful at it for 2.5 quarters. It was not good.
It seemed like it was off that interception. It all really started.
Yeah, I mean, what's really funny about that interception was Croft didn't need to push off. That ball went over him.
Yeah.
B, it was a good throw. It was a throw that actually made it there, and it was not interceptable at all.
I was not as mad at the throw as a lot of other people were.
No, if you let that ball fly out of the corner of the field, no one talks about that play.
Yeah,
Croft actually went up, made a good play. He put it only where Croft could have it, and the way that even conceivably that John Johnson could come down with that was that through Croft's body control. So the fact that they're saying that he never had obvious possession of the ball is hilarious, because the only way John Johnson can have that ball is for Croft to have obvious possession and then take it away from him on the ground or at some point in that battle, which at least it's a tie. At least it's a tie.
Yep.
At least.
Shout out tie.
There's no angle that they're saying there's no angle that shows Croft having. There's no angle that even came close to showing that John Johnson, who has to have verifiable proof as the defender to have that football. At no point did it show that he had even 60-40 possession of that football. So it was an awful call. It was egregious.
And that's why I was really confused when the national media was all over that pass interference call at the end of the game, but not anything else that happened within the game.
Right.
You saw Aaron Donald actually did face mask Josh Allen before he did the face mask on the that stiff arm. So there's a whole bunch of things you can
and then you call
the entire game. And you're going to talk about one thing when let's be real here. If the ball's in the air and he's trying to make a break and the cornerback is touching him while the ball is in the air, it's at least illegal contact.
Yeah, and it might not have been a first down, but it's 5 yards. So
yes. So
when the ball goes in the air, the rule changes from illegal contact to pass interference.
So
immediately it's pass interference.
Exactly. So you can't. I don't know how you can really argue that it was nothing. Yes, he might have initiated the contact by running into where he is, but he's trying to make a cut out of it, and he's not letting him make that cut out of it. He's not pushing off. He's not doing anything in that contact. Mm-hmm. That is definitely on the defense.
And even more egregiously, he put his hands up, which immediately means you're guilty.
Also, I'm going to argue he might make that play. Like, at the end of the day,
he might have made that catch if he's able to get right out of that break. Yeah.
What pass interference is, it's preventing the guy from making a catch, and he couldn't get out of his break, and it's possibly throwing where it needs to be in an anticipatory throw. Mm-hmm. That's where that ball needs to be. It's a touchdown. Okay, so I don't know why, knowing what the coverage that they called there, I don't know why Gabe Davis would want to initiate contact, knowing that if he just goes to the spot, it's a touchdown. I mean, the ball's there. It's one-on-one coverage. It's Gabe Davis. You're not talking about maybe Stephon Diggs, who knows he might get the ball, who knows that, maybe I'm going to be a little savvy and try to get a call. Yeah. It's Gabe Davis. He's not looking, a rookie fourth-round receiver is looking to make a play. He's not looking to and it is circumstantial, but he's not looking to draw, he's looking to make a play and a name for himself as a fourth-round rookie in the game at the end. He's the last person that A, thinks he's going to get a call, and B, wants a call. It's the right call. The refs were bad all game, including calling a quarterback for a face mask, which probably never have happened in this game.
Yeah, apparently Matt Hasselbeck, I just got a text, Matt Hasselbeck's out here on ESPN saying that the Rams should be 3-0. They outplayed us for the first 3 quarters. I don't know what game you watched, Matt Hasselbeck, but it wasn't the Bills-Rams game.
They outplayed us.
Obviously wasn't. That's the thing with these national guys. They want to talk about all these games. You cannot watch every game unless you go back to the All-22, and it's very obvious that a lot of these guys are not doing those things. You're not going back into the intricacies of these games. Football is always a complex sport. You need to see the entire picture, or else it's not going to make sense. It's like a puzzle piece. You got to put everything together, but you got to be able to see it all. You got to see what the final product is to begin with so you can put it together. And then you go in, you get the little details, you find all the spots. But if you're not able to go into the games, dive deeper, this is where you're going to get those things where, this is that one play that changed the game. And they're going to harp on that the entire time, no matter what happened before that or after that. So we've seen Josh Allen now be able to step up being down late in games. So you'd love to see that, though. And I'm not going to complain about the way the offense was really run in that game, because I thought there was some more opportunities to score in there. You probably could have initiated some more of that run game in a better way. I don't necessarily think the way that they were deploying it the entire time is the best, especially getting later into that game when you're trying to take some time off and you want to slow down that comeback. You want to keep your defense off the field. But if you're able to keep your defense off the field a little bit longer, like they should be able to do, sustain some drives against the Raiders, that shouldn't really be a problem, because you saw in that second half at some point that defense was getting a little tired. So you don't want that to happen at any point. You see Micah Hyde get dinged up. You want him to have some time to sort of recoup, and, stretch out whatever it is that's hurt, you're going to get some dings no matter what in football. You're going to get some helmets to your legs or this and that. Like, just work it out, get some ice on it for a second, you'll be okay. But give them that time. The offense can't just give the ball right back on, 3 and outs when you're trying to hold the lead.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. But then you gotta call it what it is. The Bills have struggled in the third quarter. They played a good first half of the third quarter for once, and then the second half was awful as always. You gotta call that out. I mean, it has been great out of the locker room. They've been holding leads, and they're just like, how do we prevent them from coming back from 25, which is what the Falcons tried to do? Never good. Just step on the gas. Just do what you need to do. Even make it 29.
Falcons.
Statistically, 29. It is over. So, like, literally, you needed a few more points. So that's really what they needed to focus on. And
you get down there, you kick another field goal, you get another touchdown, the game's done.
Right. And they were driving at one point, and then they had that awful fumble / face mask / horse collar / whatever you want to call that sequence there.
Yeah.
So there are some things that happened that had to go the Rams' way. But that's a good offense. I mean, that team's really good. I think you'll see them deep into the playoffs. I can't be upset
still either way, like, about that performance. Like, I'm not going to harp on the defense knowing that the linebackers, the main linebacking core between Milano and Edmonds was so banged up coming off those injuries, coming right back into it in a tough matchup where you have guys where they've been going, a lot of 2 tight end sets, like a lot of midfield stuff, a lot of play action, a lot of Cooper Kupp. Like, that's going to come, so it's very tough to step right back out there into that when you had no preseason to begin with, and one game before that, and you set the second one out. So very, very tough situation for them. But you want them to, hopefully find much better health, because it still hurt them last week.
Yeah, and I think you can say lastly here that if they struggle against the Raiders, it is cause for concern. I mean, you're talking about just a Jacobs, who's good, Darren Waller, and Hunter Renfrow, Zay Jones. Like, that's not enough. That is not enough for this good offense. This good defense. If they continue to struggle with that, I think we're going to have a discussion on next week's show that there's some issues there.
Yeah.
And a poor offensive line too. So
especially without Richie Incognito. Addition of tweets I didn't send last week. In my drafts I still have. Hey Falcons, the Bills are about to protect a 28-3 lead. Tune into Fox so you can see how. And I did not send that tweet. If I did, I feel like the comeback is my fault just because I typed it out. So I'm sorry, everybody.
Well, I think it might have been more because you didn't tweet it out. You didn't have the confidence in the Bills.
You didn't have the
confidence. The guys on the field felt that.
That's true.
Because
you did not have the gumption.
That's true.
No gumption.
They didn't have you yelling behind them, in the field. Mm-hmm. You weren't confident in them at home.
Jay.
You just weren't cheering loud enough on Long Island.
That's true.
So they knew that. They could feel, the wind wasn't blowing back enough across the state from Long Island, those cheers. So
it's that lack of gumption, man.
Lack of gumption. I'm going to have more gumption from here on out, I promise.
All right, good.
All right.
But moving into a section that, we prepare more for than Matt Hasselbeck prepares for his analysis, and that's our picking around the NFL. I'm going to start with the Ravens and the Washington football team. If we want to get a little frisky here, we could say Lamar Jackson is a bust now because he can't come from behind. Ty, I know this is your Washington football team. We'll start with you here. How you feeling?
Yeah. So you saw Ron Rivera's entire family, friends, even his dogs are going to be in the stadium today. They might be cutouts. They might not be able to yell. I think Washington might keep it a little bit closer than people think. The Dart went with the over. I think that's why we're going to get the over. I think Washington's going to put up a couple more points than people think. Dwayne Haskins is going to hold on to that job for a little bit longer. And Baltimore's going to win.
Mark, over to you.
Yeah, I just think Lamar has a bounce-back game after that Kansas City loss and just does Lamar Jackson things. And plus, I need him to do Lamar Jackson things because that scared me for my fantasy last week. I was projected to smoke my opponent, and then he was struggling the whole game, and I'm like, dude, I might lose.
Yeah.
So, Ravens.
Kevin?
Do you like the under in this one?
Yeah.
No.
Under 45.
No. You don't.
Yeah, the Dart. I mean, the Dart. I did retweet the Dart.
The Dart's inspirational. It's inspirational.
Speaking of the Dart, we're doing a giveaway, $50, no matter what, whether the Dart wins or loses. If you retweet, follow, comment one friend, and if the Dart ends up winning, 2 people will win $50.
Yeah, I mean minus 115 for the 13. You're talking about 13-point spread here. I love this spread. I think the Washington football team covers it, believe it or not. I like that cover. Maybe a backdoor, I don't know, but I do like the cover. Got to go. If we're picking straight up though, I mean I can't think you see a double bad performance from Lamar Jackson. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Ravens win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same here. It's easy, Ravens. Washington football team is not a good football team. We got the Chargers.
The not good football team.
Not good football team.
Not good football team.
And we got the Chargers, decimated on defense, still rolling out Justin Herbert because their team doctor killed Tyrod Taylor. Against the Bucks, who are without Chris Godwin, Leonard Fournette, might be without Scotty Miller. I haven't seen anything on him since we've been on the show.
Doesn't matter.
But either way,
Doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter. The Bucks defense is
Tampa Bay.
unreal. Tampa Bay. Yeah, it's Bucks.
That Chargers offensive line is real injured. You got 2 guys out already. Another one was questionable. I haven't looked at the official active since we've been on. But with that being said, I think with that defensive line Tampa has, it's over.
Juan Winfield Jr., man, that kid is on fire right now for that defense.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin?
Can't go against the group, I don't think, in this one.
Yeah.
Even regardless of the Nancy Kerrigan, Tanya Harding situation going on at the quarterback room.
That's minus 2.5 on this, baby.
Yeah. I'll concur with that one.
And this next game may be one of the most exciting games of the week. Seattle, Miami. This game might see both teams hit 40 points, and that's not an exaggeration. Seattle's without Jamal Adams. I don't think they're going to lose, but if you're doing FanDuel and you want to do a lineup with like Ryan Fitzpatrick, Devontae Parker, Tyler Lockett, that's not a bad idea. I'm taking Seattle, though. It's going to be a high-scoring game. It'll be a fun one, but it's easy.
Seattle minus 2.5 on this one, too.
There you go.
I'd like the Seahawks let Russ keep cooking. He's just been phenomenal this season. Looks like he's finally going to at least get MVP votes, if not win it. He's just been great. He's been an absolute world beater for that team. He could win that division on his own for them. I love the Seahawks. That line's moved a lot. I think it started at 7.5 to now 4.5, 5.5. Actually 4.5 right now at the Creek to the Dolphins. So it looks like some sharps are on the Dolphins, but I still love the Seahawks.
That duo of Lockett, Metcalf is unreal. Last week combined 13 catches, 200 yards, 4 touchdowns. They're gonna have a day against Miami, and Lockett is on my fantasy team, and he was my savior.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it is what it is. I'm not going to pick a Miami team against Seattle.
I don't know what the Sharps are doing.
As trendy as it seems to be right now, but that's Seattle. Talk about bad defenses.
I got a minus 2.5 just in case the Dolphins keep it close, keep it to a field goal game. I love the Seahawks in this.
Yeah, and it's trendy. I mean, the defenses. They're talking about the Bills' defense struggling. Seattle's all the most passing yards in the league. I mean, it's an issue. I mean, their defense is struggling, so it's going to come back to bite them. Not going to be against a Miami Dolphins team, though. I don't think they have enough to get it done. But I wouldn't be surprised to see that score within that 3-point range, though.
Who knew a top 3 quarterback in the NFL could pass and get your team to win football games? I mean, I know it's crazy that people didn't realize Russell Wilson could throw.
But was it an interceptable throw?
Oh my! A turnover-worthy throw. Jared Goff has no turnover-worthy throws, but one turnover.
But he has a literal interception.
Literal turnover. Next, we got the Vikings at Houston.
5-1.
5-1 Tottenham. Vikings.
And sorry, Vikings fans, they're gonna get destroyed by the Texans. Love the Texans today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Texans. Deshaun's gonna get his first win of the season, and it's like, remember when this Minnesota defense was good, and now they're just atrocious.
Awful. Ever since Josh hurled Anthony Barr, it's been downhill. Let me tell you.
That was the reason why, I believe so.
Yeah, confidence killer. Kevin.
I got Houston, but I don't think that's a good football team. I really don't.
No.
I think if it wasn't for Watson, that's a bad football team.
Yeah.
So we're going to give the Watson edge here just because he's the best player on the field.
Yes.
Don't feel comfortable with that pick, though. I mean, I really don't. I don't love the Texans at all. I don't think they're good.
No, it's 2 bad football teams. But
see who they played to start the season?
Yeah, I have, but I just haven't liked anything that offense has done. I'm sorry. With Deshaun Watson behind you. So
no, they're 2 bad football teams. I'm going to take the
Steelers
bad football
defense,
team with the better quarterback. Saints, Lions. Saints without Michael Thomas, without Jared Cook, without Traquan Smith. Maybe without I think Emmanuel Sanders is playing, but that's like saying Kendrick Bourne is your number one wide receiver, so that's not great either. Regardless, Alvin Kamara is going to cook. He might get 50 fantasy points again. I'm taking the Saints.
Lions. Sneaky team this season. They're going to win some games you don't expect. They're going to lose some games you don't expect because it's not great coaching there with Matt Patricia. Not as great as Bill Belichick, obviously. So I think the Lions will sneakily pull another game out that they shouldn't win like they did last week against the Cardinals. That defense is getting slowly better. 3 interceptions last week. I like them here against Drew Brees, who's not going to go over the top on them.
Got to go with the Saints. I know you have all those injuries to your receivers, but you have Kamara playing still, and the dude is like second in receptions, and that's included with the wide receivers in the NFL. I got to go Saints on this one.
Yeah, I'm back and forth in this one, but I like Detroit in this game. I think that they get it done. We saw this team struggle against a Vegas team. I don't love the Saints team at all with these injuries. Breeze is not playing very well. I love Kamara. I think he's great. They're like a mini to major injury of Kamara away from being that bad. Just talking about Watson. I mean, now you're talking about Kamara. He's great. Something happens to him. There's a lot riding on those legs of Alvin Kamara. I just don't think he can get it done. I think the Lions do have enough firepower. I think they have been playing better defense as we've seen. The picks are coming now for them. I like the Lions in this, but I think it should be a good football game.
Yeah, it might not. It'll be good. It'll be eventful. Kamara might have the best legs in all of football. He might be like he looks like the most talented running back out there.
Most running back worthy. I mean, he's
best teeth.
True. He's the most game-changing running back.
Dude, how much do you think his teeth are?
More than I get paid a year.
Yeah.
I was estimating, like I was trying to count the diamonds. I was thinking like
close
150.
To 100. Yeah, over 100 probably.
I had like 150 on the value.
Oh yeah, because
the insurance. You know he's insured.
Oh, 100%.
Nelly song grills.
Get grill. Yeah, grill.
Well,
I'm going 150 on the grill.
What's worth more, Odell Beckham's watch or those grills? Because now we're going to
those
Cleveland.
Grills.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. That's an awful.
Those
rolling.
That Browns game, over. That's gonna be so much scoring. Neither of those defenses can stop anybody. But I think Dak Prescott a little better than Baker Mayfield.
Just a little.
I'm going
bit.
Cowboys.
What are they like?
I'm going with the Browns on that one, man.
You know, I can tell you don't sound like you want to say that.
I was very conflicted.
No one's ever happy when they take the Browns.
No.
My Browns. My brain's saying Dallas, but I think that Russian is gonna give Dallas. It's gonna be a problem today, so I'm going Browns on this.
Breaking news: Phil Simms has Josh Allen number 4 in his top 5 quarterbacks in the league. Crazy how much a year makes. Kev, what do you got in this game?
On the Cowboys, what are they, -140 to win the division still or something?
I think so, yeah. I think that's such a great bet. It's such a great bet. Alan and I wanted to take that before the season. I think they're like +110. Yeah, I think it's still like -140
or something like that. I think they're good in this. I think their offense is really good. I don't like anything that the Browns do personally, and just don't think they play defense at all. And I just think Baker Mayfield gets outdueled in this, but it's sneaky. I could definitely see how you would pick the Browns, though. But I like Zeke. I like Michael Gallup a lot.
Gumption. That's how.
Yeah. No, it's gumption.
It's
something Jake lacked. So no, I see it. It's a good pick. It's a bold pick, but I think it's going to be a Dallas pick in this one.
Yeah, I would take the Cowboys too. Cleveland won't have Kareem Hunt, so they're not going to be able to rely on the run game the same way that they do every week. Obviously, they don't think that Nick Chubb can handle the workload of a number 1 workhorse running back, even though he was one of the best running backs in football last year and still is one of the best running backs in football. But, Baker's not an efficient passer. This might be a get-right game for OBJ because the Dallas, the secondary isn't that good. But it's going to be the Cowboys for me. This game, Jacksonville, Cincinnati. I could see the Bengals tying again because the Jaguars are on the same level as the Eagles, basically. I think Joe Burrow gets his first career win here. I think that Joe Mixon's going to finally get into the end zone. I think that Tyler Boyd, AJ Green, Drew Sample may be someone for your FanDuel lineups. Cheap tight end option with CJ Uzama hurt. I don't know. That's
You're like your daily fantasy over there.
I'm a big daily fantasy guy.
I like the Bengals too, though. I think Joe Burrow gets off the schneid finally. Should have won in week 1.
Yep.
Terrible offensive pass interception call. I think he finally gets off it today.
To go the Jaguars on this one, I'm liking James Robinson out of
He's good.
nowhere.
Like the mustache,
He's good.
The Giovanni Bernard right there, yeah, I'm
the
digging.
Gardner Minshew.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to agree with the Jags too.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the Jags in this game. I don't think Cincinnati's that's a poor football team. I'm sorry.
This
They're
could
bad.
also be the highest scoring game of the week.
Yeah,
Like,
I was thinking heavily Jags. Then I watch them against the Dolphins. I'm like, they can even play well against an awful Dolphins team. That awful Dolphins defense specifically.
No.
So I'm hesitant, but I think the Jags. I like Minshew. I think he has a good get right game. And the guy when he's playing, he balls. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Minshew in this one. I like the mustache.
And then last of the 1 o'clock games, we got the Cardinals and the Panthers. Cardinals got their first win without Christian McCaffrey last week, so the record shows the Panthers are better without Christian McCaffrey than with him, so they should not have drafted him and they should not have paid him. I'm going to take the Cardinals, as Kyler Murray is going to be mad about the 3 interceptions last week against Detroit.
Cardinals.
Yeah, Cardinals.
Cardinals. I do like the way Mike Davis has been playing, though.
Yeah, it doesn't look bad.
Panthers. I've always liked him since South Carolina. I thought he was sweet, but in Arizona.
Kevin Wildcard picked the Panthers. I like the way they're playing. I'm not a full Kyler Murray guy. The interceptions are concerning. I've never really overly liked that entire offense. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see if they're legitimate. They're gonna see if they have. I don't think they can run the ball.
Might not be Kenyon Drake might not be it.
They don't. They play a lot of Edmonds.
Yeah.
They do. So interesting. So we're gonna see. I like the Panthers in this football game. So I like Teddy Bridgewater. I like the way he's been playing.
Wow.
So
And then,
I don't know what to say. I think this is the one I had jotted down as a potential upset. I like the way that the matchups go for them on defense, especially.
Yeah, the Panthers do have good receivers too. Like you can't knock them there. DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, and Teddy Bridgewater's not
Robbie
a bad
Anderson's
passer.
been nice. He's been nice.
Yeah.
You know where he would look good in the
He's
Jets.
a big fan of Sir Purr.
Yeah, he is. The Jets could really use a receiver like Robbie Anderson.
Yeah. Maybe they should go out and get him in a trade or something. I don't
Maybe they
know.
shouldn't have paid Rashad Perriman, but whatever.
Braxton Berrios is okay, I guess. We got the Rams and the Giants in the first game of 4
Rams.
o'clock. This is the survivor pick of the week.
Rams.
This is the biggest lock of
Rams.
the week.
Rams.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones is the leading rusher now.
On to the next one. On to the next one.
That Rams offense is great. No,
We got Colts Bears. I'm going Bears. Phil Rivers is going to have a few interceptions. He's going to take a ton of sacks. It's going to be ugly.
All right, we're on the red zone timer. 3:40 on mine right now, so we got to get it going. I'm going Bears.
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 I don't like Indy at all. That team's lucky to be where they're even at, and that's not good. So I'm going Bears.
All right, then got Sunday Night Football, Eagles at Niners. My friend says he likes the Eagles to cover. I like the Niners to win by 30.
The Niners have so many injuries. I don't know how the Eagles are getting over a touchdown now at minus 110. Eagles is the easy play in that game. Take the Eagles. They're not going to win. Actually, they might win. I'm taking the Eagles. Fuck it.
You gotta go 49ers. You're getting Kittle back. You're getting Debo back. The speed on the outside, Ayuk and Debo combined. Jerick McKinnon, I think, is solid too with the injuries. Dude, 49ers, man.
Yeah.
It's tough. This is really hard. So without going into detail, I'm going Eagles. I just think Wentz is going to get it done. Those injuries are going to catch up to Sanford. You can't lose your whole team. At some point, you're going to lose football games. So I'm picking it to be this week. I think that Wentz has shown that he can do enough, and he can still be a pretty good quarterback. So I'm a big fan of Philly in this specific game. I just think this will be one of those games where, we miss a couple players. This is why.
Monday Night Football, Falcons at Packers. I'm going to go Packers. Robert Tonyan, another cheap tight end for your FanDuel lineups.
Robert
with
Daily Sports Guy, DSG.
Alan Lazard's out. Not going to affect anything. Roger's going to get it done.
Packers.
How are you going to pick between
Packers for
Tonyan
sure.
and Sample, my
It's gonna
friend?
be
How are you
tough.
going to ever make that
Packers,
decision?
Aaron Rodgers was on the Jim Rome show this week, seemed more calm, more mindful than ever, talking a lot about meditation, mindfulness, all that type of stuff. Not worried about what the Packers were doing with their moves. He's worried about playing well on the field. I think Packers easy. Don't forget, we got another Monday night game.
Packers.
Falcons suck.
Rodgers tore here. Rodgers tore here.
Chiefs.
Yep.
Chiefs.
And then
Chiefs.
Chiefs over
Chiefs.
Patriots.
Chiefs.
That's
Chiefs.
easy.
No Cam Newton.
problem.
There's nothing to talk about
Cam
there.
Newton, Fig Newton, don't matter.
Scam Newton.
Well played.
And now score predictions for Bills Raiders. I have the Bills going 38-13.
Woo.
So a crackhead walked by my house yesterday, and he was talking to himself. He said, Buffalo 34, Vegas 17. Buffalo 34, Vegas 17. I'm being honest, too. That really happened.
Buffalo 41, and I think Vegas gets 26.
26. That's a weird.
I'm
Yes.
scoring. I like the crackhead prediction. I was like right there, and then that really swayed
He
me.
said that, and I was like, oh my God. I'm like, that sounds
Right.
Well,
very
there's some-
reasonable for a crackhead.
That's got to be a weekly thing. You have to get a score prediction from this crackhead.
Yeah.
I hope he'll just keep walking by my house on Saturdays. I don't know what to
Crackhead
do.
prediction.
I will say I had a crackhead that walked by my house on Northrop when I lived UB South, and he said Buffalo Bison's gonna be surprising, and it's hung with me, even though I don't like that team. But for me, it's always hung with me. So the crackhead wins. I'm going
Just
34, but I'm going to give them 21. I think the Raiders will score some more points. I think they'll get in the 20s. Just once again, I think they're going to have to play, come up, or score a lot of points. So they're going to get theirs and get in the 20s. But I like where that crackhead's head's at.
You just
Me
agree
too.
with the crackhead. You're
Me
like,
too.
yeah, man.
I like where your head's at, Mr.
Get away
Crackhead.
from me.
See, he was just talking to himself.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I
he's
talk to
got something
myself
going on.
every
He
day.
might see the future.
That's what I'm saying. He could be Rain Man. You don't know.
I like it.
I love it. Want some more of it. More crackhead predictions coming in the future. That's going to be it for us this week on the pregame show. Enjoy the football. It's already started. It's 1:01, so we'll get out of here real quick. Make sure you order your Picassos for your game day for
that, baby.
tailgates and everything. And whatever
Alright,
Ty
keep
said
that-
because he lagged there a little bit. For me,
Ty, keep that mustache luscious for me, all right?
If the Bills keep winning, it's not going away. I might have to braid it. We'll see.
And we need hashtag gumption tweets.
hashtag gumption tweets.
Gumption. Crackhead predictions.
Crackhead red zone.
Crackhead
Give me the
predictions,
red zone,
gumption
baby.
tweets.
For me, this is getting off the rails. I got to get out of here now. For me, Ty, Mark, Kevin, all
Go
Training
Bills.
Sports, and Picasso's Pizza. Go Bills. We'll see you
Go
this
Gabe
week.
Davis.
Go Bills.